It's just highlighting an area and illuminating an area where there's a lot of growth potential. Because it could be that this is just not something that you're consciously aware of. And in order to go from scarcity to abundance, it's like with anything, you've got to become competent. And to go through those levels of competence, initially, you're going to be unconsciously incompetent. And then consciously competent, which is kind of like where we're getting to now, or consciously incompetent. Then, after today, when you start practicing it, you become consciously competent and finally unconsciously competent where you're doing it without even thinking. That's the ideal place to be. So what we've said here is that investing in yourself is the answer that you gave us to how you can potentially go to a different level of competence within abundance operating. So here's how I can break it down for you, right? We have natural laws of the universe. One of those being the law of vibration. So whatever it is that we're vibrating at a certain frequency and what we're expressing, putting out there to the universe, we're going to have that reflected in our external reality. Like that is the law of vibration that precedes the law of attraction. That's one of the laws. These laws can't be broken. These laws are rules of which when you follow the rules, you will get a particular outcome that is preordained, predestined. So one of the laws is the law of cause and effect. And when we look at the word that you gave, which is abundance is what you have, that is actually an effect of a cause. So the cause of having something is what? What is the cause of what you have? Yo, welcome back to Mo's Flow, the show where souls grow and hearts glow. And in today's episode, I'm going to be speaking about something that is going to be an absolute game changer for you if you especially are aspiring and working towards creating a level of abundance in your life, whether that is an abundance of wealth, an abundance of health, an abundance of great experiences, just abundance in general, right? And for me personally, this has been a real journey because if you go back like 5-6 years ago when I was just getting into entrepreneurship, this word abundance, I didn't even know what that meant. Like no one had ever used that language before in my household. It was something that didn't even exist. Never heard of that word up until I read a book that changed my life, to be honest. It was one of the first books that introduced me to concepts like quantum physics. One of the first books that introduced me to the science of money. One of the first books that showed me how there was just this different way of looking at financial success. And that book, I highly recommend reading it if you haven't already checked it out. It's a book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And I feel like the title of the book doesn't really even do it justice because it sounds like a really simple children's book, but it's so much greater than that in terms of the message that it's portraying and the actual science that it uses to back up the message. I think it's one of the best ones that's really eye-opening. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've personally read that, but I do remember that was like the first time that this word abundance was ever a word that I'd heard of before. Before then, not only did I not hear about abundance, but I was fully living in a world that was full of scarcity. in a world where scarcity was my main view of reality. That's the best way to look at it. It wasn't necessarily that the actual world was lacking in abundance, but more so that the lens that I was seeing the world from, consciously and unconsciously, was a world of scarcity. And even when you look at that word, one of my good friends and clients, Ben, he actually helped me to see that the clue is in the word of scarcity, because when you break it apart and you've now got the word scare and city, you've got two words that's showing that scarcity is born from the word scare, from fear. So it comes from a low consciousness place. It comes from a low frequency and vibration, because fear is literally one of the lowest that a person can be operating from. And that is the baseline that most people are at in terms of their operating system. They're in a chronic state of fear. And you might be as well watching this video too, without even realizing it, without even feeling as though like you're in a panic mode. Your nervous system could actually be locked in this state of chronic fight or flight. And so the scare aspect is one aspect, and then the city is the actual environment that you're in. You may be in a city where there's so much congestion, overpopulation, and with all of the excess in terms of people, it almost feels as though nobody has enough. If everybody is crammed into like one flat, then it will feel like there's not enough in terms of resources, land, property. But everyone is earning supposedly more money. It's like the lens of opportunity when you look at the US, the UK. So how can it be that there is more money but more scarcity? Because here's the thing, like I remember when last year I went out to Montenegro, of all countries, and when we looked at like the average amount that people were earning per month, and we were asking them this question, like, how much are you guys sort of making to live this lifestyle that you're able to live, where you can go to the beach whenever you want, like you can live in beautiful homes, which are much bigger on average than the homes in the UK. They have a lot more land per house as well. Like they don't starve in terms of food. They eat well. They're all in great shape, healthy. So we were asking, like, how much money do you guys make? And they were saying, it was for them, if they were making English money in their country, it would be roughly like £300 to £400 a month. And they were still a lot happier than people out in the UK, like way happier. So personally, I believe that a big reason why is because like when you look at the comparison between somewhere like the UK and Montenegro, what you'll see is that they actually have a lot more land than the UK does. The UK is like a tiny little island. Montenegro is huge in comparison. It's like 10 or 20 times more greater in landmass than the UK is. But the actual population of Montenegro is smaller than even one city in all of the UK. It's smaller than all of London, smaller than even some of the smaller cities. I think the whole entire population of the entire country is about 200,000. So when you think about it like that, imagine how much land like every one of those people has access to in comparison if they're sharing all of this abundance of land. So what I'm saying is that, there's abundance really as being a perception thing. You're looking at two variables to showcase whether or not somebody is truly in abundance. And depending on what the real measure of wealth is, wealth can either be how much money you have, but it can also be about how much land that you have. And in fact, in different eras, that is what wealth has represented. So in the original era and the original economy that existed before factories, the internet, and education, schools, in that economy, the land economy, how much land you had was a reflection of how wealthy that you were. So on a base level, it's like whoever has the most land has the most wealth. That's why those guys out there, like, they actually do feel a lot wealthier than the people in the UK, all cramped up, but are given the number on their bank account that symbolizes how much wealth they have. It's not really the true aspect of wealth, especially in this era that we're currently in right now. So there's the land era. Then after the land era, there is the era of like the industrial era, or even the agricultural era. And it was more about who had the most amount of machinery. They owned all the wealth. Who had the most amount of cattle. They owned all the wealth. And then it moved on to like the capital economy. Whoever had the most amount of cash flow and money, like, they had the most amount of wealth. But we've moved past that. And we've moved into eras where we're going into an era which is like more recently the knowledge era. Whoever had the most access to knowledge, they were the most wealthy, which is why people would pay so much money to these universities, hundreds of thousands of pounds coming out of school in debt, just simply for knowledge, access to knowledge. Why? Because knowledge was scarce. And the more knowledge that you had, the more information that you had, the more that you'd be able to operate the machines so that you'd be offering value to companies. So knowledge became something that was valuable. And after knowledge and that industry, and the information industry, there was the partnership era, where you've got people who are 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and they're collaborating with streaming platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and all of these social networks where they're able to essentially trade attention for money, because it no longer became that money was the most valuable resource, but it was now attention that was being commoditized. So this is an era that is very recent, and it's only in the last 10, 20 years that we've seen this really play out. But the cool thing right now is that we're actually about to move into a brand new era. And in fact, we're probably already through it, like in the beginning stages. But because it's the beginning stages, it means that there is the maximum opportunity here right now if you capitalize on this. And that is that we're moving into the AI era, or we're in the AI era right now. Artificial intelligence. And this is like one of the most significant changes that's ever going to happen. And this is why people are saying that it's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth in history. And going forwards, there likely won't be as big of an opportunity for you to expand as there will be right now in comparison to other eras that will come in the future as well. Like, this is literally the once in a lifetime type of era when you look at it across the board. So no one can truly predict everything that's going to happen in the future. Like, I don't have a one of those balls, and I'm not what do they call them? Not a psychic, but I'm not someone who can see into the future that same way with absolute 100% certainty, like this is going to happen how it will. But based off of history and looking into the future, what experts are predicting is that this is the era with the biggest opportunity to really go through the maximum amount of growth in terms of your wealth, your abundance, and everything like this. But what I believe is that most people, knowing that this era is here, because this is one thing that I know is also quite evident through the conversations that I've been having with just lots of different people, whether it's entrepreneurs, employees, like everyone. It's not as if people can't see that we're in this era. I feel like everyone knows there's a big shift that's happening from the conversations that I've been having. What I see that is actually a lot more rare is how much people are looking at where the opportunity really is and having a clear understanding about just economics in general. So the thing that I feel like most people are not necessarily seeing is like they're trying to attack this era with, the players that have a lot of greed or desire or drive, is that I see a lot of people trying to attack this era by learning as much as they can about AI, becoming AI consultants, becoming AI experts, becoming AI agency owners and things like that. But that is a very like left brain way of doing it where you're only thinking logically, but it's actually illogical in and of itself because you haven't fully understood economics and how that works. Because the more AI that's coming into play, it creates demand for something else. In the same way that every one of these previous eras that we went into created demand for something else. So when we were in the era of the machine era, everyone was like, yo, let's go and like make the most amount of machines that we possibly could. But it was whoever could operate the machines that ended up amassing more of the wealth. Right. So like if you simply attack it from a standpoint of, okay, I just need to learn how to operate AI. I'm not saying don't learn how to operate AI because it can be useful for yourself. But what I'm saying is that what you want to be focused on is what is the world moving towards? What is it going to be craving for and asking for a lot more when there's a massive amount of supply of AI and artificial intelligence in the marketplace? What is the marketplace going to be craving for at that point? And if it's not going to be something that's artificial, then it's almost going to be the opposite. It's going to be something that's a lot more real, a lot more authentic. That's what people are craving for. And even if you go on social media right now and you just look at like a lot of new posts that are being put out on places like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, what you'll notice is that there's definitely a lot more influx of AI content. In fact, it's becoming more rare that I'm to see posts of actual people putting out content, and more people are now putting out AI created content. Why? Because it can be done more at scale. You can do it in way more volume if you know what you're doing with it. So there's literally like YouTube channels where I know that all of it is AI and they're just pumping out videos like every single day, which you would not be able to do as much with as little effort as you can with AI once you've got everything running in the system. So this is naturally going to be evoking a desire in the marketplace, creating demand for authenticity. And if you go into the comments of like these social platforms and you look at recent posts, what you'll notice is that everyone's like, but it's AI. I'm looking for something, can it not be real? So tired of all of these AI videos at the moment. This is getting out of hand. people are sharing their distaste for the fake AI, right? And the AI is only going to get better and better. Like right now, it's the worst that it's ever going to be. So by next year, next 5 years, these AI videos are going to feel so real that people are going to not necessarily even want to be so much consuming the same kind of content that they've been consuming for the last few years, like this short form, quick content. People will start to really feel this disconnect, because ultimately what these platforms were intended to create was a sense of connection between the person who's putting out content and the one who is viewing the content. It was intended to bring people together originally. Like when you actually look into what Instagram's original mission statement was, it was all about unifying people and getting them to connect through sharing precious family moments and experiences. So if it's moved away from that original mission and purpose, and people are feeling it, that they're more disconnected than ever. And to be honest, when you ask lots of people these days as well, they'll agree. AI, social media, it's all just making us more and more disconnected from each other. So there's going to be this need, desire, demand for more connection, more unity, more community, more community and collective connection. That's what the world is silently asking for, craving for right now. That's where the world is going, which is why when you actually take a look at some of these biggest platforms right now, like Facebook, YouTube, like everything is being directed towards different forms of content, number one, which is more in live stream content in person, but also like there's a lot more of a focus on the community aspects of these platforms. This is why like Alex Hormozy is building and putting so much focus and attention on school, because he believes in it so much in terms of where the world is going and what we're going to be needing a lot more of in the future. Everything is moving towards live in-person experiences as much as possible, which is why you see like big influencers who are now doing their, instead of, presentation VSLs in their funnels, actually moving a lot more towards having these big live experiences where they can have 50,000 people all there at once, and then being able to connect with them through this means. This is why we're seeing more and more people wanting to go to retreats. I didn't even know what a retreat was years ago. Now, everyone's going to retreats. Everyone wants to be a part of retreats. It's almost like a status symbol. Yasmin, welcome. Let's have a look in the comments. We got a hey, hey. Just listening. Cool. Because I got a lot to talk about with this one. So yeah. Going back to what I was saying. Oh, not feeling too good. Damn. Hopefully this will make you feel a little bit better, ideally. But yeah, you'll feel better after this. Always does. Absolutely. So going back to what I was saying about the way of which the world is moving towards more connection, and it almost being like a status symbol now, where when you're a part of a community and you're having in-person community experiences too, that in the future is going to be a big status symbol. And I believe to some degree it already is. When you move into and you start looking at like more forward countries that are just living a little bit more in the future, or pockets of places, I'd say one pocket of place that's like that is somewhere like Southeast Asia, Bali, those places, and everything over there is about community. When I went to California, that's another place where it feels a lot more forward. But then everyone there was talking about being in Austin, Texas, because they had this community aspect over there too. So the world is moving a lot more towards community connection, real connection, which is great. It's like all circling back to origin of what things used to be like when we had our tribal aspect of living, and we're getting back to that in a soul essence. So when I'm looking at what the world is craving and what we're desiring moving into this new era is more connection, more community, more contribution. And so it goes back to this question of, okay, if this is where the world is going right now, what do we actually want to be focusing on, if not just learning how to operate AI? And I would say that what we want to be focusing on is either joining communities, right? So we're getting the experience and the value of it, or the best asset that we can have right now is an asset which is owning our own community, claiming ownership over that. That's the best thing that we can do, because at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping you right now from having your own community that you're building. That's not just your own blood family, but it's like your extended family, your soul tribe. Before, it was impossible to do so because you wouldn't be able to connect with people from all around the world through just putting out content and attracting them to come towards you. But now that's so possible. Anyone can do it with a phone, a laptop, and the algorithm is the best that it's ever been at being able to find your people. So when we're asking that question again of, okay, what do we want to be focusing on? There are two types of people. You've got one type of person who they have a lot of liabilities. What's a liability? Well, Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he actually defines a liability as just simply anything that takes money out of your pocket. And that's from a financial standpoint. But for me, my definition of a liability really is anything that takes significant resources out of your pocket. And that would be money, time, energy, attention, effort. All these things are truly liabilities. Whereas an asset is anything that can put those resources into your pocket as you own that particular asset. So what most people do is that they buy liabilities, they accumulate liabilities, things that take money out of their pocket, takes time out of their pocket, takes attention out of their pocket, takes energy out of their pocket, takes everything away from them, drains them of their energy. That's what people buy. That's what people spend their time on. Why do they do that? Why do people buy liabilities and just do so with pride as well? It's not as if they do it and they're like, damn, I made a big mistake there. No, usually people buy liabilities with pride and it's actually celebrated. Status. Could be status. Yeah. People, they ultimately crave status, but the thing is that when you think about it logically, a liability in the short term can give you more status, but long term, you actually have less status. than the person who's buying assets. To feel good about themselves and filling the void. Yeah, I think this is really what it comes down to. Because if you are buying anything in general, people we know, a lot of science and proof research shows that people do not buy based off of logic. People buy based off of feeling. So they ain't working out like, oh, this is what I'm going to get financially by investing into whatever it is that I'm exchanging my money for. They're not thinking about it's going to give me this much money, it's going to give me this much time back, it's going to really help me over the long run, reduce costs, etc. Because they're not using their prefrontal cortex. They're actually operating from their reptilian brain and just reacting to everything that's going on in the world. So from an animalistic consciousness and viewpoint, then yeah, you're just going to be buying liabilities for fun and seeing it as if this is the best thing that you can possibly be doing with your money. You have no other options. And you'll do it because it's normal. Everyone does it. So you'll buy your car, buy a house, pay for a wedding, a massive one, go to university. Like, when you think about it, there's not that many liabilities that people buy. It's not really that many. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, of course, like you've got things that you've got to buy just to eat, to stay alive. So food, of course, you can buy that. Is that really an asset? Financially, maybe not, but at least it's going to feed you energetically. But even then, there's the person who's operating more in scarcity, who the kind of food that they're going to buy is going to be food that will drain them of energy. Why? Because it's unhealthy. So they're making poor choices there. Just because they're unconsciously operating from scarcity. Whereas the person who is looking at even the things that they need to buy physically to continue staying alive, like they're gonna choose things that are more healthy and beneficial to their body, because it gives them a return on their energy. So even necessities can become liabilities. Exactly. So you have people who are in scarcity that they say that the reason for why I'm operating in scarcity, making choices in scarcity, is because how can I survive without it? It's a necessity. It's a need. But you can be operating in abundance even when you're buying necessities. Because the choices that you can be making, the thought process that you have whilst you're buying, can be a lot different than it is for the person who is truly operating from a place of scarcity. Abundance is not just about when you're buying luxuries. It's also about when you're buying necessities as well. And when you're making that choice of, okay, there's a necessity here of a food or a drink that I can be having for myself, at least let me make this choice in abundance and go for the absolute best that's available. What's the best thing that I can choose right now? Rather than what is the thing that just costs the least? Because if you think about the thought process of somebody who is operating from abundance compared to the one that's in scarcity, think of somebody that truly has abundance. Now, what is abundance? If you don't know, it's simply overflow. So if we have, for example, an overflow of financial success, money, and wealth, then what kind of choice are you going to make when it comes to the things that you'll buy? You're going to go for the option that gives you the most value. You're going to go for the option that will solve your problem the quickest, the most likely, and with the least amount of strain. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go for quality more than anything. So could you imagine like someone like Elon Musk? Currently he wants to be able to build his robot army. He wants to win the race to like super intelligent AI. Could you imagine if he turned around and was like, yo, I think we're just going to go for the cheapest option. We're going to hire like just one guy instead of 1,000. We're going to pay him the minimum salary. And we'll just hope that we'll get the result the fastest. But I'm going to make this decision from scarcity because like that's what I'm thinking of. They would just never do that. If you had the choice, you're always going to go for the best option. So then the question becomes, well, okay, easy for Elon Musk to do. He has an abundance of money. What about when you don't have an abundance of money? What about when you're not Elon Musk and you are on minimum wage or you don't have money coming in? How can you still make choices from abundance if you don't have that same level of access? What can you do different? And it's one of the hardest things. And this is what I was saying on my post before as well, is that every great millionaire who has gone from rags to riches, when you ask them like what was one of the hardest things that you had to go through on your journey, they always say that one of the toughest things was being able to operate from abundance whilst living in physical scarcity. So if your physical reality is showing you that, damn, I ain't got nothing that I can spend, that I can invest, how am I supposed to make a choice in abundance and choose the best option whilst I don't have anything? And so there it becomes about, okay, well, maybe you won't be able to afford the best houses, you won't be able to afford the best vehicles, you won't be able to afford like all the best experiences that the world has to offer in luxury at that point. But that doesn't mean that you still have to choose scarcity. Within the realm that you're living in right now and that level that you're currently at, you can just operate from a level of abundance. So what Yasmin said there, better choices of using the things you have for free, like your time and your energy. Better choices of using the things that you have for free, like your time and your energy. Could you give an example? If somebody had an abundance of time, an abundance of energy, what would they do with it? Don't waste time on the TikTok. Don't waste time on TikTok. So this is the question then. You use the word waste there. Do you feel like waste is something that comes from scarcity or comes from abundance? And if so, why? Mhm. We should be using time more productively to produce. But yeah, the question is the word waste, is that something that comes from abundance or comes from scarcity? TikTok can be beneficial if you're using it productively. Hmm. And again, that question there too, when we're talking about scarcity and abundance, does it make it abundant if it's beneficial? Is scarcity something that is not benefiting us and abundance is what benefits us? Yeah? Why? I understand that what you said there because it takes you from being stuck to moving forwards. And to be honest, I think that what you've said there is is quite profound because when you think about what scarcity does to a person, scarcity will keep a person frozen. Whereas when you're in abundance, like we said, abundance is overflow. So that means you're in motion when you're in abundance and you're flowing like water, not like ice. So if being frozen is being in fear, being in flow is being in love. That's the epitome of flow. I don't know what part you want me to say again. I said quite a bit there. Um, so I was saying that if being frozen is being iced up in fear, then being in flow, in abundance, is being in love. Yeah. So going back to what we were saying before about how can you operate through more abundance, more flow, more love, whilst physically what's going on externally is not a reflection of abundance, flow, love. Like when you're just getting started out, you've been living your entire life in scarcity. So everything that you now have and that you're holding is scarce resources as to what it appears. What's the shift that has to occur so that even whilst you don't have the physical representation of abundance, you are able to make the shift from scarcity to abundance? Mindset shift from fixed to growth. How would that help to go from scarcity to abundance? What would a person with a fixed mentality struggle with when trying to operate from abundance? With growth, you're more likely to get into a more abundant state. If you're fixed, you ain't going anywhere. Yeah, I think that is the general way to look at change in any area. It can apply to your physical health, going into the gym. It can apply to relationships. It can apply to business. Like, if you have a fixed mindset, you won't see change, you won't see growth. But more specifically, with moving from scarcity to abundance, how is it possible to do so? So let's ask the question a little bit differently then. So if you were in the gym and you were someone who was obese and you needed to become someone that was in peak physique, world class bodybuilder or model, how are you able to make that shift even when you're looking at the mirror and everything is telling you that, yeah, you're an obese person by what you can see? A strong why? Yeah. What would a strong why do to take a person that's obese to becoming healthy, in shape, chiseled? It would kick your ass into gear. It would give you fuel and you'd start moving. You'd have inspiration. You could even have a little bit of motivation there as well, being pushed. But you're going to feel this pull naturally. Yeah, the why will inspire you. Motivation usually comes externally from somewhere else. So you'd have those things, but if you just had a why, is that enough? Or would you need anything else? It's still a daily choice you have to make. What's that daily choice that you have to make? You have to choose yourself. You have to choose what's best for you. Exactly. So you choose, if you're going into the gym, you choose to go in there, not as how the obese person would go in there and do nothing and be lazy, but you choose to act like the person who you desire to become, which is why they don't say fake it till you make it, but be it until you see it. So if we're being healthy, we're being fit, we're being determined and disciplined in the gym, that could look like doing reps. That could look like doing volume. It could look like intensity and effort. So my question for you now is like, practically speaking, what would it look like for a person to shift from scarcity operating to abundance whilst everything that's reflected in their physical reality is scarcity? How can they make the shift? How would you know that someone's on their way? Change things like environment, people around them, food in the house, etc. Okay, tell me more. How could you change your environment so that it's no longer an environment in scarcity, but it's an environment in abundance? How can you change the people around you so that it's less about being in a scarce environment, being in an environment of abundance? I think we already touched on the food. You can go for food which is healthier for sure. More premium. An accountability partner to take to the gym. So someone who's actually helping you with your growth. That's specifically for like the health aspect. But how about for specifically moving from scarcity to abundance? Surround yourself with people that are supporting you, lifting you up. Reading. See, a lot of people read. I think everyone reads. You know, my my mum, her entire life has read the news. Uncles, aunties, they read the news like every single day. For some reason, I don't feel like it's taken them out of scarcity to abundance. Read the right things, not the news. So, this is the question now. The news is specific, the right things is more generic. What's the specific things that you can read to help take you out of scarcity into abundance? Motivational books that inspired you to make better choices. Okay. I guess motivational books would be better than the news when it comes to making you more motivated, more inspired to make better choices. Would it take you out of scarcity to abundance? Help. Again, like if you ask for help from people who I've seen many people ask for help many times before. Um, Seen kids ask teachers for help. Doesn't always take them out of scarcity to abundance. And a great example of that, everybody has AI, everybody has Google. So they're always asking for help like every single day, but don't know if it takes everyone out of scarcity to abundance. I give up. What's the answer? It's a good question. So, So the example that I gave before about how somebody who has abundance financially will operate differently to somebody that doesn't is that they will buy the option that will give them the maximum value as opposed to looking at what will be the thing that is the cheapest. So, as the generic frame, it's like you've got three types of people. You've got the person who is going to make a decision based off of value, another person that makes a decision based off of cost, and another person that makes a decision based off of price. They're not the same thing. Value is what you get yourself personally, which is why the person who's operating from abundance is always going to go for value because it gives them the most. And not only that, but they give the most, knowing that by how much you give will determine how much you receive. Somebody who's operating from abundance is fully in alignment with that law. The second category is the person that's thinking about the cost. So you're being pragmatic, practical, logical. And through doing this, you are not going to be focused on the price, being focused on the long term cost to you. So, what do you have to give over the long term? And then the price is about just the short term. Right now, in this moment, what do I have to give up? So, you're conscious about what you have to give up right now, but you're unconscious about what it is that you are going to receive over the long term. That's somebody who's operating from scarcity. Somebody that's operating from abundance, they're not very conscious about what they're giving. That's why when people will pay for certain things and they have lots of money, somebody will like say, "Oh, are you bothered about how much it costs, the price, or anything like that?" They're like, "No, just go and buy it. I don't care." Whereas the person that's operating from scarcity, they're going to be like, "Yeah, but how much was it? Do you know specifically?" So they're very conscious about what the price was when operating from scarcity. But what the person who is operating from abundance is very conscious of is they're conscious of the value of what they're going to receive. And not just the ROI, like I said, it's the ROI, the ROE, and the ROL. This is the interesting thing is like people who operate from scarcity, what I would argue is that these people are not very emotionally intelligent because what they are always buying is they're buying into fear. It's like I'm going to go for the lowest price no matter what because I'm scared that I won't get the returns, number one. So there's no point even thinking about the returns that are possible. And number two, I'm going to end up losing money and never being able to get this back. That's the epitome of scarcity based operating. Whereas the person who's operating from abundance, they're not operating from fear. They're buying into all the different things that and different feelings that it can give them. Maybe you're buying it because it can offer you security. Maybe you're buying it because it can offer you more variety, more more certainty. You're buying the feeling. So, can you see now one way of which a person might be able to operate a little bit more through abundance and not through scarcity, through the purchases that you make, like the buying decisions? Yeah. So let's say that you're in a position where you don't have all the money in the world. There is a genuine limit to what you can spend. How can you still make a buying decision through abundance and not through scarcity? I thought you said yes. I meant maybe, maybe. Okay. Um, so this is the thing, like I was saying before, you don't have to do it for all of the big things in your life, but you can start small. And you can start with, for example, let's say right now, every single day when you go to the store and you have your daily purchases that you're making, rather than always choosing like the bread that is the cheapest bread that exists because of the price, you go in there and you focus on like, what I'm going to buy bread regardless, but let me go and search for the absolute best bread that exists and focus on everything that I'm going to receive from being able to make this purchase. Which means, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more that you have to give financially for that. But you're not bothered about that. You're bothered about the actual return that you get in value. And see, like, this goes against like everything that, especially someone who has like this logical mind, will be thinking is logically from scarcity. I want to bring more wealth into my life. How is spending more on bread going to help me? Isn't that going to take more money out? I'm not supposed to be putting money into my bank account. This doesn't make any sense. But how do you think it might help? Yeah. So you know that it's more valuable. How does choosing value over price allow you to start operating from abundance more than from scarcity? you make better choices about everyday things. Let me ask you a question, because this actually as well took me a while to like really understand what even scarcity and abundance meant. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning before you came on. Is that like the word abundance was not even a word that existed in my vocabulary before I got into entrepreneurship and I read the book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money. So let me ask you this. If you was to teach what the words scarcity and abundance meant to somebody who had never heard of it before, how would you describe that to someone who has no idea what it means? Tell them the benefits of making better choices and the harms of bad choices. Um, I think that's not necessarily answering the question. You're more so answering like, how could you help a person to become more abundant and to not operate from scarcity? But more so the question I was asking is, to someone who doesn't even know what it means, like they're just trying to understand, what does abundance mean? What does scarcity mean? How would you explain it to them so that they could understand it? Okay. Abundance is having more than you need, and scarcity is fear, is what you've said. Fear of losing what you have. Okay. So I think that's a good start. And an easy way to kind of describe what you've shared there is that if it's not always looking at what you need, it's about looking at what it is that you would want or truly desire. So you might not necessarily need something, but you might want it. You might not need to have the best quality bread, but you just might want it. This is why, like, whenever you're looking at the language that you're using, anytime that you're saying the word like need, you want to be conscious of that and be careful, because you could just be perpetuating more scarcity in your life. Even the word want. When you look at saying the word want usually reinforces lack. You usually want things that you don't have. But if you say things like, I choose, I desire, then this is more from a place of abundance. Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, what you've said is abundance is having more than you need, it's having what you desire. So, this is where it comes back to this question of, well, how can you go from abundance or scarcity to abundance if what you can see in your hand is like you don't have what you want, you don't have what you desire? How can you have what you desire without having what you desire? Invest in yourself? What would that do? How could investing in yourself give you what you desire when you don't have what you desire? Oh no. And no one said you're supposed to. Like it's just highlighting an area and illuminating an area where there's a lot of growth potential. Because it could be that this is just not something that you're consciously aware of. And in order to go from scarcity to abundance, it's like with anything, you've got to become competent. And to go through those levels of competence, initially, you're going to be unconsciously incompetent. And then consciously competent, which is kind of like where we're getting to now, or consciously incompetent. Then, after today, when you start practicing it, you become consciously competent, and finally unconsciously competent where you're doing it without even thinking. That's the ideal place to be. So, what we've said here is that investing in yourself is the answer that you gave us to how you can potentially go to a different level of competence within abundance operating. So, here's how I can break it down for you, right? We have natural laws of the universe. One of those being the law of vibration. So, whatever it is that we're vibrating at a certain frequency and what we're expressing, putting out there to the universe, we're going to have that reflected in our external reality. Like that is the law of vibration that precedes the law of attraction. That's one of the laws. These laws can't be broken. These laws are rules of which, when you follow the rules, you will get a particular outcome that is preordained, predestined. So, one of the laws is the law of cause and effect. And when we look at the word that you gave, which is abundance is what you have, that is actually an effect of a cause. So the cause of having something is what? What is the cause of what you have? I got the thinking face on. I can see. Everything in your life that you've accumulated, what has caused you to have everything that you possess. Your experiences. What's caused you to have experiences? Fate, choices. So, just to give you the actual definition of what fate means from what Google says, is that fate is the development of events outside a person's control, regarded as predetermined by a supernatural power. So that's where I was talking about the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe is fate itself, but your choices specifically is what you can control. So I guess the question here is, what do you choose that causes what you have? Being. Being causes what you have. Oh. Who you are causes what you have.
Assalamu alaikum, you're right, man.
That's him typing it, by the way. I'm
Sorry.
just very tired.
He's her like half asleep, but she's cool.
I'm listening now.
Listening.
So which one of you said the things that you've been saying? I don't know.
Both of us.
Both of you. Okay.
Oh,
Does
it's,
it-
it's Yasmin, but it's not. Yeah, I'm giving her.
Just now, only he just joined me now.
Damn,
Somehow. Yeah. Read the X button on top.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. My camera's overheated. It's not happened in a while, but it should sort itself out soon. So what I was saying was about the answer that you gave. You're spot on. Whoever said that out of the two of you, or both of you,
It's the
being
Master 22.
what's that?
It's the Master 22.
It's the 22.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's shining as well. So, um, being causes what you have. Why? Because your identity, who you are, causes you to have your property, what you own.
Mm.
And there's even a bridge in the middle of that, which is what you do causes what you have. Your activity causes your property.
Actions.
Exactly. That's the middle point. But if you are truly being an active person, then you're going to take massive action naturally.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
if you're trying to take action, but you're not being an active person, you're always going to try to take action. You're not going to just do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Being is more action. It's true.
Yeah. So you always want to look at what is the root cause of what everything is. Because if you attack the cause, everything else falls into place. If you try to change what you have and you focus on that, then nothing will really change. But if you focus on your actions, what you have will
Mm-hmm.
change, but it's going to feel difficult to change the actions. Whereas if you
Yeah.
focus on the identity, the actions will be easy to change.
Right. So you don't focus on the actions, focus on the identity first of who
Exactly.
you want to be.
Yes.
Right.
So when you were saying before about abundance, you said abundance is having more than you need.
Mm.
Right? So if
Yeah.
abundance is having more than you need, how can we have more than we need?
By getting what you need.
You don't have the resources for it.
You ain't. Yeah.
You mean like if you're in a place of external scarcity?
Exactly, because anything external reflects your property, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
What would the internal be?
Change your identity.
Exactly. So if your external is abundance, or if your external is scarcity, what
You,
is your internal?
Yeah. It's burning. It wants to.
so you need to change that internal to abundance, then it will reflect in your external. It's
Right. You have to go from identifying as scarcity to identifying as abundance.
Role reversal.
Yeah. So here's the question.
how do you do
How?
it? This is so Idris. I'm just so happy you're talking about this. I was gonna go to sleep, but I think he needs to hear this was meant for him. How do you go from it? Scarcity, internal scarcity.
Well, no, there's
to
acting.
abundance.
There's being confident. There's being making those and being seen to be confident and all that. But yeah,
But it
Before
shouldn't just be
we go,
external, it should be internal.
yeah,
got to be
before we go,
careful.
before we go specific into how you can change from internal scarcity to, internal scarcity to internal abundance, I want you to just think about, in general, how can a person change their identity?
Ask. Wear a mask. Like Batman.
Absolutely. He just created this alter ego, Batman, and
Yeah,
then boom, there you go. He's a whole different person.
the ego, that's it.
Hmm. That's one way.
Yeah,
But you have to embody that alter ego when you
Yeah,
like when you're doing something or when you have a choice to make, you have to sort of channel that alter ego so you don't go back into the scarcity mindset, isn't it?
yeah. When Batman was choosing to be Batman, it's like, how did he know how to be Batman?
Mm.
He just created Batman as a character and was like, yeah, this
Just
is the
gonna
kind
do
of
it.
shit I would do.
didn't he get stuck in a cave and the bats came and
No, it's not Spider-Man.
bit him?
No. He's not a superhero with superpowers. He's just a normal guy that just
Yeah, I remember he went
has
into
fancy gadgets and stuff.
it was the cave, and he went in the cave and he got
No,
stuck.
man. I don't know about that,
And
but they didn't bite him. Because Batman doesn't have
so
superpowers.
why is he a bat then specifically?
He's not like a Superman
It's
or
not.
Spider-Man. He's not.
It's
I
not.
think
He chooses
you'll need
to
to
be
watch
Batman.
the Dark Knight.
I'm sure he got bitten.
I don't know.
I recently watched this. I can tell you how it goes. In the first Batman, Batman Begins. If you've never seen that, great movie.
Yeah.
It
Is that
precedes the
what's
Dark
his name?
Knight. What's that?
What's his name that acts in there?
Christian Bale.
No. Yeah, that's it.
Christian. Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
one.
that
I
was
think
top.
I did watch that one.
That was top with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, so there's three of them. There's Batman Begins, there's the Dark Knight, and then there's the Dark Knight Rises.
Returns. Rises.
Yeah, so the Batman Begins shows how he became Batman, and he became Batman unlike heroes like Spider-Man that
Mm.
mutated, etc. His superpower is not his physical strength. It's not his it's not his ability to fly or anything like that. His main thing was his mindset and his um, the
Wanting
way the
justice.
way that
Injustice.
he was molded. Yeah, that combined with his financial power. So it's a
Mm.
bit like Iron Man, but Batman is a lot darker. Like
Mm.
he's the one that, like a bat, for example, it's literally something that exists in the cave.
Elusive.
Yeah,
Stays at night.
He's got that dark aspect with the financial power. So that's like his thing. And he became Batman. The reason why he was Batman is because he was always afraid of bats when he was
Mm.
younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he um he took ownership and he was like,
Mm.
I'm not going to run away from my fear. I'm going to become it.
And
So
then the Joker killed his dad, and
it wasn't the Joker.
But
It
Penguin
was
died.
someone else. Yeah, it was like just a random guy.
do you know what? There's
No,
been
didn't he die in an accident?
they've done so many different like stories about Batman though, and then
You don't even know
you
what's
don't even know
real
which one is the real one.
from the
It confused me
comic.
after a
Yeah.
while. But I think the last three, you're right. These ones were good. They went back to the original.
It's the real story. Yeah, it's pretty spot
Yeah, he was the one doing good but not liked. Or
So yeah, he's one example of how you can change your identity. How he did it was by creating an alter ego costume. Dressing different was one thing that he did. He changed his name. It's another thing that he did. He went through an initiation by
Training.
law and training. Yeah.
You need to change the mindset, learn the skills, and then apply it.
become Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think about any other identity change that you can think of in movies or examples, anyone else you can think of that had an incredible identity change?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He was a weak boy, yeah.
Yeah, he went from weak to
But he had an external thing that happened to him. That's what caused him to be like that. Rather than an internal shift, like shift, like
He had a
Batman.
traumatic experience.
Mm. Oh yeah, the uncle's death.
Yeah.
There was that. There was that. Same thing with Batman too. He had a traumatic experience.
Mm.
His parents died. So that's like a key component that I think people don't necessarily see with change. Like trauma accelerates change.
Yeah, of course.
But only if you do the actions to change. Like sometimes trauma can be like crippling. If you choose it to cripple you, then it just cripple you.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
like Batman, he was crippled by it until like 15 years later. And then he decided that he was going to not let it cripple him anymore and became Batman.
Mm.
So this is the thing about scarcity, is that here's the question: is anybody born as scarcity?
No.
No.
Mm. One
We're
of those
born as a
skills that you learn, I guess, as you get older. From your parents, people around you.
So if scarcity is learnt, then it's a lot more about unlearning.
Mm.
And when you look at it, it's like there was a moment in time of which you'll have experienced a particular trauma, put you into scarcity, kept you there, and that's what has defined you, that moment, or shaped you. But until you consciously choose a different story to play out,
Mm.
then the scarcity will be your lasting identity.
How do you like go back and just think about a moment in your life? Someone say something.
Yeah, think about like what was the moment that triggered the scarcity more than anything. When you think about your upbringing, what was the most traumatic experience that cemented the
This is very
Yeah, mine's
yeah,
mine's going to prison. Simple. That
see,
was
I
the
didn't know.
lowest. That was the lowest point.
Right. What was the no in your like traumatic that made you feel scared?
Yeah, I felt like that's it, finished. Well, yeah, but then again, this was a long time ago, of course, but
You didn't do anything very bad, by the way. That is mic right now.
Has your mic on?
My mic.
No.
My mic is fine. I think.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just that was a turning point. It's the lowest point I can think of in my youth.
See, I didn't know that you went to prison.
Only for it's not it was a white collar crime. I was working in Ladbrokes. I was like 23, 24. For about 3 years, I became deputy manager. Got into I was just working random shops, like relief managing, and then I just got into gambling. With my own money at first, but then I started losing it. So I was thinking, okay, this ain't good. So stupidly, I started gambling with their money.
Wow.
It was good at first because I was replacing it, and there was no one could tell. But then obviously, horses lose, football teams lose, and I remember it was the summer of 2004. Greece were in the Euro 2004
You bet on them.
final. Yeah, I bet on them hard, and they won, and I made quite a bit of money, and I should have stopped there. But I thought bigger. I thought, right, let me get 20, let me get 30, let me get 40, and just leave the country completely, like a fresh start. Because I was going through a breakup at the time with my fiance. So I just thought, this was my exit plan. But it didn't work out because things started losing, and then one day, till was short like about a few thousand, and I got called out of the shop. Someone else came in, checked the till, and was like, "Oh, why is this till short?" But he phoned me from the other shop. I'm like, "Okay, try not to just cover it," but he didn't cover it, so that was it. I got 8 months, but that was a big change for me. 'Cause from then, it led me to a lot of questions while
It
inside,
led you to Islam.
which led me to Islam in the end, but it wasn't straight away. That was 2009, 2008. This was 2004 still.
Mm.
Well, yeah, that was my turning point. 23, 24.
That's a line in the sand moment if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, it was. And when you're inside for a white collar crime like that, like I got a lot of benefits. I'll be honest. Wasn't hard. But it was hard,
No.
obviously. Obviously, it's very difficult. But I'm not going to say I had trouble at all. But it made me question this system. First time in my life, I was just questioning this system.
And if you go back even further than that, because what that story kind of showcases is the relationship that you had with money, which there's literally like an archetype of which there's
I grew up with scarcity.
Not even, but it's a very masculine relationship where you've got that one archetype more than anything. So if I pull up all the different ones, I'm sure that like Yasmin's probably got different personalities than you do. But I can tell straight away like which one yours is more than anything, and let me know which one comes up for you when you're looking at these two. So if I share my screen and I show you this over here, out of these 7, which one do you think that story was showcasing for yourself?
Wait, let me just zoom one sec.
Is it too small?
Yeah, zoom in a little bit more.
Turn the screen around.
Oh yeah. No. No, I weren't a gambler. I was a warrior. Maybe a bit of a compulsive spender. I wasn't a compulsive saver. I was a compulsive spender, but not that much. Compulsive money maker, no. Indifferent to money, no. Saver spender, no. The gambler, maybe. Obviously, it's got me into prison. But the warrior, yeah, bit of the warrior and the compulsive spender.
Okay. And you said that you weren't a compulsive moneymaker, but
No.
you also got into prison for gambling and like, trying to make more money when you could have stopped.
Yeah.
So the evidence suggests that at that time, you must have had part of you that was a compulsive moneymaker.
Yeah, I knew that you had to get money to get out of here. I knew
Yeah.
like we didn't have money. I was living at home. I just felt, I knew you had to think big to get out.
Yeah.
You had a motivation.
I had a motivation.
A lot of big, successful business people have had gambling problems. A good example of that, like Daniel G, number 1 sales trainer in the world right now, hyper successful. When he was about 15 years old, he was already making more money than most adults. And then by the time he was 18, he had a gambling problem. So a lot of like highly successful people have the gambler within them. Even myself, I'd say that like evidence suggests by my story, I also had part of the gambler within me too, for sure.
Yeah, I guess we all have to gamble at some point, isn't it? It's true.
Yeah. I don't think like for me, I was that much of a worrier like throughout my entire experience. I've somewhat been worried about money, but compared to other people around me, like nowhere near as much. So yeah, for me personally, it's like it's been the gambler, a little bit of the indifferent to money, where it's a little bit like, yeah, money's not important, stuff like that. Don't need to worry about it. But
Yeah, I
I
was a
think
bit like that. I never saved.
I've never been a saver. Never
I'm
been a
still like
saver.
that.
Never been a saver. Always will be looking to do more with my money. So I'm definitely more of the gambler.
Yeah, if whatever wages I would get, that would be gone by like Monday. Literally, like that would be gone on things that I needed.
Yeah. So now the question that you want to ask yourself is, where do you think this came from? Like, where did you get this personality from in being the gambler or the spender?
The gambler came from when I was in work. I was in the environment. The opportunity came, so I just thought, okay, this was a way to make me think, like get my mind off things. One race goes, two race goes, one thing comes in. It's just exciting. It was excitement. More about the draw.
But even even before that, like if you think back to what it was like in your childhood with money, was money something that was abundant in your home? It
No,
was,
no.
and
Go out
what,
and I'd have a tenner in my pocket. My friend would have 100.
yeah, what kind of personalities do you think your parents might have had?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely
they were very.
scarcity mindset.
Yeah, of course. It was my dad used to work from 6 till 11 at night. I never used to see him. And then we'd go on holiday once every year to Cyprus for a month. It wasn't. It was yeah. I knew, and the pocket money. That's why I went straight to work when I was like 18 and left college. Everything. I just needed money at the time.
Yeah, compulsive money maker.
Yeah.
And what
I was
was
always the late one to get things. Like no, I never had the Sega Mega Drive. I had the never had the. Everyone would come in school with the Game Boy and the Sega Game Gear. I'd be like
and
stood on.
is that because your parents were big savers? Like they just never used to spend on you, or were they worriers?
They didn't have any.
I think it's just the way they are.
It's probably because of their history and the way
Yeah,
they
it's
come
just the
from,
way they
because they
are.
were immigrants. Your mom was like a refugee. Your dad was like running from the war. So they had
I
a
didn't get like
difficult life.
I didn't get the all of us, my two brothers as well. We didn't get like the your average names either. I don't think my dad had an idea to stay here.
Mm.
We've got like really Greek names, which I've always struggled with growing up. It's like what? Satiris? So what? Sariris? Serious? Are you serious?
Say,
So that's why I went from Sooty to Soot to Idris. I've never been comfortable with my name.
it is a tough one.
British, I've never understood it. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, no one understands it except Greece. You go to Greece, everyone loves you. Sotiri. Okay. Well, I'm Idris though.
They don't
So,
like that either. You've taken yourself out of that.
but with that, I felt to just make it Idris, so it sounds like Satiris. And the Imam at the time was like, yeah, it sounds about right. They go, yeah, you're Idris.
Like Idris Elba?
Yeah, he came after me.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, but he's cool. I like Idris Elba. Yeah, that's where, and then hitting that point where it was like from the youth and then hitting prison, it was like, okay, where do you go from here? Like, where do I go? Must have failed somewhere to get to this point.
But since then, he's just had one difficulty after another.
Hmm.
And
And then I got stabbed. Literally, a year after I came out of prison, I got stabbed and nearly died. Lost 4 pints of blood and was out for 6 months. So for the next 2-3 years, I had a lot of time to sit and reflect at that time, and I think that's what God did. He moved me.
Mm.
He gave me trials, one after the other, and I was like, what? So for the next 3 years, it was just I had time, got reading, got into the books. My friends started, and then I had Turkish friends growing up. All my friends were Turkish Cypriot. So at 26, 27, when I started talking about religion and started saying, yeah, I'm reading the Bible now. And I did. I was reading the Bible. That's what I started. But it was confusing me. So I was having I was saying, yeah, the Bible this, Bible that. But then they'd be like, what? That don't make sense. Have you read the Quran? I'm like, what's the Quran? Like, you don't know what the Quran is. You've been around us all these years. You don't know what the Quran is. And then that's when it started. I got my first taste, and then I was like, whoa. Being around my friends all them years didn't show me, but then at that time when I started questioning, they said, "This is what it is. This is our religion." I'm like, okay. I didn't even know. But yeah, that's me.
It's quite a story, man.
Yeah, it gets deeper.
There's more.
That's just the beginning.
There will be a whole life until I came along again.
Jasmine's falling asleep, but she's trying hard.
I'm trying. I think you need this baby.
Nice.
If he doesn't talk about something, right? You just like avoid it.
Don't avoid it. You know it's there. Just have to move on.
But it affects you, obviously. It affects the choices you make, affects the way you feel inside, the scarcity, inner scarcity. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah, I guess, but I have a resilience as well that goes with it.
Mm.
That's got me to this point, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Has to be something inside that's keeping me going, isn't it? That's cool. I've always had that. Like if you the more you the more you fall, you got to stand up and rise. Keep rising. Keep rising. Keep rising. I'll hand it over to you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like Yasmin said, there's a lot that you've been through, and it's kind of like what we realized for Yasmin as well. You know, there's power in the story that she has, and it's the same thing with yours too. When you share your story more, what does it do for you
Makes
and
me
other
feel.
people?
Yeah, it makes me feel like, wow. And that's how I can get through another day, because I know that I've battled through them. Like I've battled through a bad day, very bad days, and then I've seen the sun can shine the next day.
Not in England.
I know, in metaphorically. If you keep focusing on the bad and the negative, you'll never get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that as well. I felt that. You've got to keep hold of positive things to always bring you up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what in the scarcity, to reach out to people like that you can trust. That's what you need, that help in hand. if you're in that scarcity complete mode, because you need the help, the bridge,
Mm.
the key. I want to get into a club and I can't get in. I need someone to get me in. You need a key. You need a VIP, sorry. You need someone, you need a link.
Probably.
Isn't it? I guess.
It's a good way of putting it. You want to get into the abundance club, then you got to have someone who can get you in.
Most of VIP to that.
Yeah, that's one way. That's one method. There's other method, but that's the quickest and easiest way to have, like, be lucky to have that.
Mental.
If you get to that point where it's low and scarcity and like you got nothing, you feel like you got nothing, but you got that link that can get you back into that abundance zone again, isn't it?
Mm.
Otherwise, if
Yeah.
you've got no way of getting there, you're going to have to fight your way to get back in. If you lose those links, that's where people lose faith
Mm.
with humanity.
Yeah. So it's about returning back to abundance.
Yeah.
Remembering what it was like to be in abundance.
If you had it, yeah.
When you say if you had it, that shows that there's a question of whether or not it really existed. And the thing that we were talking about just before was, is anyone born as scarcity? And both of you said no. So if you're not born as scarcity, you must be born as abundance. So by
So you
default,
got
everyone has had it.
yeah. If there's a course, if a child is born, and child is born with nothing, and the parents have nothing, but somehow they've created a child, then yeah, you're born in literally nothing.
Yes, but
No
what you're
growth,
you're looking at what the child has, not who the child is.
his future, what his potential is.
If you took a child that was born in the slums of Africa, Mumbai, or wherever,
Yeah.
and you took it from like just being born, put it into the wealthiest neighborhood in Los Angeles, Singapore, wherever, that child will straight away have abundance, but it also will be abundant. It won't have difficulty in becoming
Right.
abundant. It already is.
Yeah. Yes.
So what I'm saying is
Just needs
that
it needs the environment to become it needs the environment.
the environment is big. Yeah. The environment has an effect. And if you look at the environment,
Opposed.
Right.
Glitchy.
Maybe number.
Just us. Okay. Should be useful.
It's good for you.
It's good.
Sometimes you need to play.
Yeah.
yeah. So I was just saying that with the environment, it's like it's taken a lifetime to build you as you are right now. Whereas with a baby, the reason why it's easier to influence them is because they haven't had a lifetime of programming. to build them to who they are now.
Yes. True.
Exactly. So it's more difficult to change you as it is to change a baby. But it's not impossible. It's just more difficult. So how could you undo a lifetime's worth of work in a short space of time, or the shortest space of time?
Motivation.
Mm. Whatever, whatever.
Something that motivates you. Inspiring yourself. Helping others.
Let's put it a different way. Let's say, for example, you've got a house, and for an entire lifetime, that house was neglected. That house was just torn apart. You know, you've just been
Trust.
absolutely trashing that house, throwing toilet paper everywhere. Like, it's dirty, grimy, whole lifetime worth.
And there's a cat.
There's everything in that. It's like Jumanji. Imagine,
Yeah.
imagine that you got that house to clean, and you got to do it quick. How can you get it done quick?
All the cleaners.
Call the boys.
You say call the boys?
All the cleaners.
Yeah, you just got to start from scratch, room by room.
Yeah. I mean, starting from scratch could take a long time as well. What would help it to happen fast?
Yeah.
Get help.
Get
Call the
help.
boys.
Call the boys.
Yep.
So
Who would come with their gloves and overalls
yeah,
and a truck and a skip?
Mm. And you get it done practically in a day, right?
You could do, yeah.
So an entire lifetime could take a day
The help.
with help.
That's what I was saying as well.
So the question for you is, who is helping you, and how much are you giving them in space and time to help you? How much are you allowing them to help you?
Yeah, my wife.
You got your wife, which is great. You got one.
Mhm.
That's it. Alhamdulillah. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Like, in that sense.
And it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, the most important person in your life, practically, and she's helping.
Yeah, it's more than I need.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah, it's more than I need, of course.
Yeah.
My parents, obviously.
But are your parents helping you to come out of abundance? To come out of
No.
scarcity?
So we put you back in scarcity.
No.
This is what I'm
Right.
saying. So
Yeah, scrap that.
Yasmin is great because she's there to support, she's there to help, she's there to encourage, and has best intentions. But this is the question: is Yasmin someone that's operating from abundance unconsciously, or is she more so transitioning?
Transitioning. But
Mhm.
I see the potential there from the beginning.
Absolutely. So this is the thing. It's like, imagine you've got that house that you got to clean out, and you know you're bringing in someone who they are injured. they got a broken leg. They're healing.
Yeah, I
but they
mean,
can't
you do
walk.
it now.
You can be encouragement,
Yeah,
and sit there and
they
make
can
conversation.
they can offer you encouragement, but you're probably not going to get it done in a day with their help because physically they ain't ready yet.
No. Correct.
So it's a similar thing with having just Yasmin is great as someone who's an accountability partner, as someone who is a helper. But if you want to be able to undo all of that programming fast, you got to have someone that's already there.
Obviously, yeah, I've got my friends, obviously, and I've got
Are they
people.
there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
they're there
No,
to
but
a
are
certain
they in
limit.
abundance? Are they in
No.
people that are in abundance?
No, it's not, I wouldn't say it's abundant.
So they're not gonna okay.
Yeah.
So, from what it sounds like at the moment, you don't really have the boys yet. The
That's the
abundance
right one.
boys. Yeah.
No, that's
You
all
got
gone.
you got the scarcity lads because you're from Scarcity.
Well, the help might be there, but it's just, how do you ask? How do you get? How do you? That's all gone.
What's gone?
People think you're okay, innit? So when you might say, "Oh, I need," I guess you don't want to surprise people. You don't want to mess up their flow. Like, you don't want to mess up people's life with your problems.
Why?
Because we're here to navigate the way we navigate, and if you navigate wrong, if you do things wrong, it's like that's it. That's well, no, it is. It's your problem.
It's your problem, but why don't you want to bother others?
Because they may have problems, their own.
Yeah.
They're getting on with their own shit.
That's right. So there's people who have their own problems, and why does that mean that if somebody else has their own problems, that you wouldn't want to bother them with yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't think you'll get the right help back. Like the help that you're expecting ain't what you think it's going to be. So you'd rather not ask.
So you don't believe that there's going to be value in the one who will provide you with help. You don't think that it's going to be as good as what you expect.
It's not bad. I feel bad. I just feel bad to ask. Well, it's just my trait. I don't ask. But
this is the question now. So why do you feel bad to ask for help? Because it's not just you, by the way. Like, this is a if any man was watching this right now, he's gonna literally be saying the same things that you are and feeling what you are right now. So this is like really important, to be honest. Like it's a big thing that you'll have to go through in terms of your personal growth. Why do you find it difficult to ask for help? Why does that feel bad?
Like I said, like I think when I see people, especially post COVID, I think people have just they're either working from 9 till 6, coming home, having their life. They don't want to be bothered. You might message someone. You might think like people just not interested in big problems.
This is true, but let's say that there's two types of people, right, that live in the exact same world. You've got one person who doesn't feel bad about asking for help, knowing that other people still have problems that they're dealing with. And then you got another person who is unafraid of asking for help and they are afraid of asking for help and they feel bad. So rather than focusing on like the external and what is the same across the board for those people, the question you want to be asking is, why do you, Idris, why do you feel bad when you ask for help?
Because I've had chances. I guess people have said to me, "Oh, you've had these chances. You've had good jobs. You've had the opportunity. You went to school. You went to college. But I didn't do fuck all of it. I just messed about. Got through life. Went and then red light came out of prison, and then I found Islam, and that is just another chapter of my life."
Yeah. So how is it that connects with you feeling bad now about asking for help? What do you feel like the connection is there?
I've got a big family, cousins. Once I found Islam, that's it. I lost that. I lost my brother's help. I lost my cousin's help. I lost all of them when I had that growing up. So now I had to find my own way. So it's serious. Idris had to find his own way, but I was still making mistakes. And people are like, "Okay, what do you want? You're a Muslim now. Go and deal with it."
Okay. So to put it one way, it's like you had an environment where back when you
I was safe.
You were part of that place, like you felt safe to ask for help because that was your safe environment.
And I was getting it, yeah.
Now, like you're more of an outsider to those that family, and it's kind of left you in a place where you don't really feel as though you have your home and that kind of community of people who you can ask for help from.
Yeah, the people that are your blood. So I had to find my own way. So the friends I had, that's it. I had to just. But I need people. I can live alone, but I can't. It's not. I need people support.
Okay, you guys are gonna love this. It's wild. Like my intuition is going crazy these days, and literally even before this call, I was like meditating on this and getting some crazy downloads. And one of the things I was reflecting on was just how much and I think it was even yesterday, to be honest, like my mum, she asked me a question because we had a relative that came over, and she said, "Oh, please tell them," because I told my mum about like the whole Lion King analogy that reflected my life and even her life. Like she was absolutely loving it, and she was like, "Yo, tell this relative about it." And today I was like, okay, so I've fully been able to see like who I am and my development in the first movie, The Lion King, but I haven't actually seen it play out like in the second. So where am I right now? I must be in the second movie. And I don't know if you recall what happens in the second movie, but this is now where Simba has actually grown up and he has become the one who is the king of his land. And his kingdom, or where all the light touches, as Mufasa says, that is the land of abundance. And, you know, like he had to go through his journey going out of abundance, coming back into it. But when he is bringing up his daughter in the next movie, he's very protective of her, and he's like, you know, same message again. Don't do the mistakes that I made. Don't go into the land of abundance, into land of scarcity. Stay away from that. And simultaneously, another story that's happening in the second movie is the story of Scar's son. So Scar got married to this other lion and this lioness, and she brings up the child, but brings up the child like from scarcity, and he gets raised in the darker place. And just like in Romeo and Juliet, two families, two star-crossed lovers come together. They weren't supposed to, but for the sake of love, like they ended up connecting. And it was in the movie, it's like the connection between that scarcity and the abundance. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, so who must Kiara be, which is like Simba's daughter in the movie for me? And I was like, well, it's got to be Yasmin, because I've been like giving her all the games. She's about to step up as the queen of her kingdom, and you know, been showing her like everything that is the abundance. This is where all the light touches. Stay away from the scarcity. I was like, okay, well, who must Kofu be, which is the one that she falls in love with, and tries to convince her father that, can you bring him in? Like, is he allowed in? And Simba's quite reluctant at first, because he's like, nah, he's not from here. He's not our pride. So what ends up happening in the movie is like Kofu becomes an outsider to his own family. He's got nowhere. He's in between. So he hasn't got support like from like a leader or anything like that. But eventually, like Simba's like, you know what? You belong here. And that's how the actual movie ends happily. And things work out from there. So this is the thing, man. Like, as much as you may feel as though you don't have your family and anyone who can be helping you out when you need to ask for help, like, this is your space as well. You're welcome here.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
He's like to sit on the sidelines. I don't know why. It feels like he doesn't belong in the space. That's very funny.
Because of where he's from. But you gotta now simply, even if even if you fully don't feel as though you belong, because like Yasmin's affiliated and you weren't the one that made the original connection with me or anything like that, like you're welcome here. And I
Yeah, I
feel as
appreciate
though
that. No,
one of
it's
one of
just
the one of the things that I'm
I don't
sure
want
I was going to say, like
Not
one
to
of the
help.
things I'm sure
to.
Yasmin will attest to as being one of the reasons for why like she does feel so much as though like she belongs is because she's met me in person.
Mm.
Do you think you'd feel the same connection that you have with me right now, Yasmin, if you hadn't met me in person? In
Probably not as much.
No,
That.
there's no way. Absolutely no way. There's something that physical connections and
Energy.
the energy, breaking bread with someone, being able to shake someone's hand, give them a hug, like there's something that does. So
Right.
it's one thing, yeah. It's one thing to
Yeah,
be hiding behind the screen, but you got to come see us at some point, man.
yeah, we should meet up. That's right.
Yeah.
But you generally always feel like the outsider. Even in my family, like they all love you. But you still sometimes feel like you're the outsider.
Because I am.
You know, you choose to be the outsider.
Why do you think
No,
that
look,
is?
it's not about that. No. With your family, they're beautiful, my friend. Like I've got nothing.
You
But
don't
yeah,
feel good enough to be.
yeah, there's a certain limit I can't go
Exactly.
past.
Thank you.
That's it. I know that. I know. Mm,
Because again, I think it's like you come from the scarcity and you've seen this sort of external abundance in South Africa when you go, and you feel like you don't belong.
yeah, but I love the country. Country is beautiful. Boom. But yeah, I don't feel. Yeah, yeah, that is.
There's something there, and where you'll find the answer will be most likely through starting to reflect on the relationship that you have had in your childhood with your I'm leaning towards like most likely it sounds like the mother.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like for me. But it's your relationship with your parents. That's where the answer here lies for you as to why you don't have that sense of self worth or
Yeah, I've always been put down. But simple.
Even till now.
I'm the odd one out. Even today, I'm the odd one out. I've gone against the grain. I've made wrong choices. I've made wrong mistakes. Haven't kept this. Haven't. Yeah. I've run away from the cross. Yeah, it's true that I've never been told by my parents, yeah, you've done good. Well done. That's bad, really.
and it's also not about necessarily getting a message from them saying that you've done good, but that you are good.
Yeah.
It's almost like they expect you
To fail.
to fail, yeah. And then you do it just like because it's a cycle of thing.
Oh, we told you so. Or you, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's where it comes from, really deep. And then my brothers have taken that on by showing them, look, yeah, we've stayed on your thing. We've done what you've asked us to do.
That's good.
Had our Greek women, Greek wives, had our 2 children, and that's it. Well, I'm the odd one out. That's fine, but at least help these odd ones out, and at least have that rope, at least have that thing there. You just cut that off because of you feel you're better. Then all right, I'll leave you to it. I won't bother your life. And I'll just carry on creating my life, which up to this point, I can't. I don't know. When I think what I've done, I can't complain what I've done, but other people don't see it like that. You know, I'm just crap.
How do you see yourself?
I'm cool. I know what I see myself. I know what my potential. I know what I'm capable of. It's just I can't get there. I can't. I've never been able to reach the things that I actually want. Never. Or the things that mean the material things I'm talking about. I have to be specific. Material things. I can't get what I want. Never have. That's why I had to try to steal it at that book.
What do you think it is about you that has difficulty with getting what you want materially compared to someone who gets what they want very easily?
Habit. Habit.
Bad habit.
Bad habit. Not enough good habits. That's what it is.
And what do you feel like is causing you to have bad habits and not more good habits?
No, what I'm saying is like I can. I know
Yeah.
I don't count the good things that I do during the day, but there's bad habits. Yeah, don't help situations like vices. Like clouding your judgment, I guess. Not facing reality.
What's the reality that you're not facing?
That I'm good enough, yeah. That I'm worthy.
So why haven't you been facing that reality?
It's just easier to stay in this lane. I found it easy. I found it comfortable. like I said, I've got to this point with struggles and bumps and everything, but with this one thing that has always, I guess, been there from the beginning. And I guess that's weed. I've got to be honest, yeah.
So this is something that you still struggle with, or?
Yeah. But I don't see it as a struggle, but I guess it's just, I can't deny it, yeah. It's always been there, isn't it? Along this way.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? I talk about this in my Turning the Tide documentary presentation, whatever you want to call it, educational movie. That there's three main enemies that the system will leverage in order to keep you small and keep you stuck. One of them is ego, which I don't think you're struggling with like massively from what I'm hearing. The second one is fear. Could be a little bit of that somewhere here. And the third thing is comfort. Now, Mary Jane, she is definitely comfort.
I agree completely. You got a problem, you go there. You haven't got a problem, you go there.
Yeah.
But everything seems cool.
And so for the man who is cuffed to comfort, because that's it's a prison, it's a literal chain that it is imprisoning you. That's what comfort is. You might not be able to see the chain, but you might as well be locked up. You said that you've been in prison before. You thought that you escaped. You didn't escape. Physical prison, yeah, but you're still imprisoned.
Yeah.
And if you face that reality, then you're going to realize that, damn, I got to liberate myself somehow. I have to emancipate myself. How can I do that? How can you break the chain of comfort?
We're getting abundance. That I need. We're getting the abundance. Moving into that zone. That mindset. Somehow. Trying to get that bridge where I can cross and get over to there and be like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. What would you say the opposite of comfort is?
Discomfort.
And if you think about it right now, what's the most uncomfortable zone for you in general? Like, what do you find most uncomfortable?
Pressure.
Pressure.
From an early age.
What kind of pressure?
Put me under pressure. Like, I'll be happy. And then, look, I'll be honest. Put me in a position where I have to fight, or where it's life or death, or where it's something where I have to do what I have to do. Yeah, it's that. Find that very difficult. Freeze or flight moments. Sorry, that's it. Which I've always struggled with.
I get you. Like,
I've had fights like growing up, but I've never got into this. Like when I got stabbed, I just stood there, I froze. literally, just the guy just stabbed me.
Yeah.
But I had a chance. But that's me, not wanting to hurt people. I don't understand how people hurt people for no reason, for fighting or for thing. I like boxing, and that's the thing. I love boxing, but I've never been one of these. I'm gonna knock you out. Or I've always been a peace person, which is what weed has helped with.
You're a lover, you're not a fighter.
Yeah, always.
Definitely Kofu. And
I wish everyone was like that. But I've learned over time and my years that
yeah.
no one's like that.
So it's not just about no one being like that, but it's more about like as a man, right? So there's 4 different developments of masculinity, which I think are a really good book for you to read, which is going to have probably more of an impact than reading books on financial stuff, etc. Like you and Yasmin on a different journey in terms of your own development. I think the biggest transformation that you're going to go through in your leadership and what you want to be documenting a lot more of is your journey of actually up leveling with your masculinity. And the book is titled The King, the Warrior, the Magician, and the Lover, because there are 4 different journeys that a man goes through in terms of his development with all of these aspects. So what it sounds like to me is that like the lover archetype with yourself, like this has been pretty well developed, more than most men. You're in a marriage, like you got the kids, you are expressing that side with ease is what it sounds like. There's no difficulty there. Very confident in that area. But the one that sounds like you are the most reluctant to grow within is like your warrior. Even though you like boxing, like we ain't seeing that fire come out of you as of yet, which is why it can put you under pressure in that area. And the thing about the warrior archetype, it's like it's not just about how well that you fight physically other people, but it's how well that you're able to step up and be called forth into your mission as the leader of the family. When there's injustice that's occurring, like people know that you're going to step up and you're going to take action. And as you do that as well, like as you step up as that warrior, what you'll notice too is how like you're actually going to see like a different side to Yasmin. She's going to feel a little bit more at rest, and like, you know, she can really be glowing in her feminine. But in order for that to really happen, it actually requires you to step up. And even in the movie The Lion King, like that's literally what Kofu had to go through. Was he was very much like always born as the lover from when he was young, but his development in his maturity was that he had to step up as the warrior.
I get that. And I do to a certain point. But then there's a point which I know I can't. And maybe it's a mind block. Like when I go into, that's what I say, when I go to South Africa and see her outside, I'm like, what? Like, this is me. Yeah, it's a totally different situation, but enough.
You like peace.
I love peace.
You don't like war.
No, I don't
That's
like.
why.
Yeah, I don't like confrontation.
Yeah, that's why you got to become a warrior. Because there is no
I've
peace
had to
without war.
fight. I've had to fight. I've had to. I've gone through things like I've, I know what's right. Yes, I've, I find it hard to do the right thing, and
Why?
it's like it's, I haven't got that um, status or respect where people are expecting anything from me. Anything I post tomorrow could be just random, but no one's expecting something from me, or I haven't got anything to kind of offer apart from me.
And remember who you are.
Yeah, I know who I am.
Who are you?
I'm Idris.
Mhm.
I love her. Yeah, I'm happy. You like someone contacts me and someone, I'll always be like, I've always
That's
had that in me to have a friendly face. Because
yeah,
where does that take you? You've got to have the warrior face. You're right.
yeah. So this is the thing. It's like on the one side, we know that you haven't actualized on that journey to becoming the warrior. That's development in process. Idris 2.0 coming soon. However, Idris 1.0 is better than Satyrus.
Yes, 100%.
Mm. So when you're talking about like, who am I? Why would anyone listen to me? My posts are just random, etc. Well, yes, if you're trying to talk to you, or if you're trying to talk to Idris 2.0, or anyone further than that, but if you're trying to talk to Satyrus, that guy who was just about to go into like prison, gambling, came from scarcity, navigating what it was like to become a new Muslim, etc. How valuable would it be for him to have a conversation with you right now as who you are with everything that you've been through?
I'd think like, wow.
Wow, exactly. People will look at you and be like, wow. But the only reason that they're not saying wow is because they don't see you. And the only reason they're not seeing you is because you're not showing yourself to them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The reaction. I'm afraid of reactions, isn't it? And be like, oh, what's this guy saying? What's this?
You don't care what people.
Why are you afraid of what other people think?
No, not as much. I don't care what other people think. It's not that. It's just getting an opportunity. an opportunity to show who you are. But if that never happens, you stay in your lane.
Mm. And you said that the reason why you're not showing who you are was because you're afraid of what other people might say. So is that the real fear, or is there something else?
Yeah, of course.
So why are you afraid?
Because it's not normal. Well, it's normal. It's normal in a sense, but it's making people understand that how you're thinking, how you're feeling. But it's not all that bad. It's just, but it's getting out your feelings across, which is difficult.
Why?
Because there's only certain ways you can. I think typically, write like words or action, and it's difficult.
Why is it difficult?
I keep saying difficult because a lot of things I find, like even Yasmin will say, I say a lot of things are difficult. It's difficult. Right? It's difficult.
It's
Yeah.
difficult.
And that's where the Yasmin mindset is a lot more. You realistic. Well, I'm like unrealistic, but I guess is it unrealistic or is it pessimist? Yeah.
So who is the one that finds it difficult? You answered the question there. It's the pessimist within you.
Mhm.
And the pessimist within you, is that the real you?
No,
No. Who's the real you?
the lion.
Kofu.
Some kind of lion, yeah. Not maybe not the lion, but some kind of.
Why does that be some kind? Why can't it be the lion?
I ain't a lion.
Scarcity again.
Scarcity.
You ever seen the movie Coach Carter?
Which one?
Coach Carter, the basketball movie with Samuel Jackson.
No,
No.
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, Yasmin, have you seen it?
No, I don't think so.
This is my sister Yasmin's favorite movie.
Mm.
Like, it's a classic. You got to watch it. And I kind of feel like right now, one of the famous scenes with the coach and one of the guys who's like, he's you. He's literally you. And the coach asks him the questions that I'm asking you right now, and he can't answer them. And he asks the guy, like, what's your deepest fear? And he can't answer him, so he kicks him out of the gym. And then he ends up getting into trouble because he comes from like a gang and everything like that in a bad area. And he comes back. And instead of saying what his deepest fear was, he actually just read out a quote that he found like that answered the question because he didn't know how to answer it. He just found it from Google. And when he searched it, it said Marcus Aurelius, who wrote Meditations, one of their famous books, said that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Mm.
And it is not our darkness that scares us, but it is our light. And so for you as well, from what I'm seeing, you're actually afraid of who you are facing you in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because you know how powerful you really are. You're afraid of what happens to you when you start wielding that power. You're afraid of who you become. Because just like Kofu in The Lion King, his dad was Scar. He had a lust for power. He didn't want to be like his dad. So he spent so much time avoiding being like his dad that he, in the process, was no longer able to become anyone who had power. Power was never the issue.
Yeah, I've kind of done that as I've grown up. My dad was very, very strict. Very strict.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a mentalness maybe that said, I'm not going to be like that. As a husband, as a father. I went the opposite way.
Exactly. You went to a different extreme. But it's not about avoiding power and avoiding the development of your masculinity. It's not about that. It's about integrating that dark part of who you are and owning who you are fully. Because you are your father's son.
Yes.
And you won't necessarily become just like him if you will power. But without having half of your genes activated, you ain't ever going to be able to live up to your potential.
Yeah, I've always felt that I guess my strength comes from Dad, my resilience.
Yeah.
But not my shamelessness. My dad was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I just thought I'm a rebel. Yeah, it's like a rebel thing. But instead of seeing myself as the rebel, I should have seen myself as me, innit? That's me growing, not as a rebel.
You just want to difference. You think you get the attention you needed.
Yeah, I didn't get that attention either from my two older brothers who were more closer in age. They're more closer in age, so they've kind of grown up together. I came along, disrupted their ambience in the house. I became my mother's favourite and everyone's favourite. And then I switched. I became Muslim. See you later. That's how it was for them.
That's a story, man. It's powerful. But
Yeah, well, they've never heard it from me.
No.
I've never been able. From that time I switched in 2008, took my Shahada. From that moment, I haven't sat down in front of any one of them and said, "What do you feel about it?"
You don't need to.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like, again, going back to the Lion King analogy, we keep things plain and simple. All the answers are there. The truth is there. And he has to go into the pride lens as well. That's his development. So there's no point in feeling shame around the aspect of yourself that you want to feel the most pride around and have the most respect around as well. What you have to be able to do is truly have pride around your faith, around the choices that you've made.
Yes.
When you stand in that pride and that power, then that's what's going to make it cement the decisions that you've made. Having that ownership, no one will be able to affect you at that point. You'll start affecting other people. So let me ask you the question again. Who are you? Who's the real you?
I love life. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm. He has been saying I'm the lion that's going to claim this.
The lion that's going to claim?
Pride.
His pride.
No, I don't know who I'm not sure who I am yet. I know who I am, but I can't
That's okay,
articulate
man.
it.
That's okay. You're starting to get to a point of seeing, but not being able to articulate. And
Yeah.
by the way, for me, it took years to get to the stage where I can just say it within a few words. Years. And I knew, but I just couldn't say it. So it doesn't have to take you that long because you've got me and I can help you. And so can Yasmin and things like that. But they don't call me the soul mentor for no reason. This is the best person on the planet that can
That's
help
true.
you. So here's what
I've seen the change in Yasmin over the year. Like, I can't
now it's time for you
begin to describe it.
Now it's time for you to experience it too. It's all well and good being on the sidelines, but time to join the pride. And here's what I recommend that you do after this call is you start off by just having 2 pieces of paper where on one piece of paper, and Yasmin can help you out with this too, but you just literally want to identify all the parts of you in terms of character traits that you associate with Satyrus, right? The guy that you used to be, that you're disassociating from, and he's the past version of yourself. Like all the bad habits that he does, all the negative traits, like just write everything down there. And then on the other side, I want you to write out who you see Idris as in his light and that expression. And write down as many things as you can possibly come up with that is practically just the opposite of all the dark things that you've just written down. So for a lot of people, it's like, especially if they have a negative self-image, it's easier to find the dark things. So you can start with that and then just get the contrast and get the opposite for the light. But if you are finding that there's some light things that are coming up as ideas as to who you are, then you can get a contrast of that for when you're not being who you are, you're not being authentic. And if you start with that exercise, then eventually we can distill it to a place where we've actually got the main aspects of who you are within just a few words. But that would be the process. Make sense?
Okay. That's the first step.
Yeah. And it's a big step.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. My pleasure.
I appreciate that.
I'm so happy this call happened. Well, something I've been saying for a very long time. Well, thank you so much.
We thank God.
Yep, alhamdulillah.
Like finding Islam was like, for me, that was the track. And
You think anything means greedy.
really,
But that's what you feel like you're just happy where you are and don't get anything.
yeah, 'cause I guess people knocking you back, isn't it? Employment and things that happen, which you see other people progress onto that 30, 40 grand a year job. You're in this environment where you're earning 25, 30, 25, and then there's opportunities to go up to 30, 40, but you were never one of those, either because of your name or because of, I've always felt as, yeah, well, you don't believe that you deserve that. So you end up leaving that job, leaving another one, going to another one, and then you're getting lower and lower and lower when your opportunities stop. Before you know it, you're 35, 40, you're getting married, you know what I mean? But you haven't achieved what you wanted for some reason. Or you know the reasons, but it's just difficult, yeah. But I'm not saying I regret. I'm saying that that's what I believe. I've seen opportunities come, and I've let them slip.
That's one trait of Satyrus, not Idris. What does Idris do? He doesn't let opportunities slip.
Well, Idris has as well, yeah.
No. That was Satyrus.
Right.
Idris don't do that.
Yeah.
Idris grabs opportunities by the balls as soon as they comes, and he squeezes the juice out of all of it until there's nothing left. That's what Idris does.
I know what you're saying.
Can you see?
I can. It's just
there's a bipolar personality disorder. And most people have this, by the way. So whilst you have that, it's good to get clear on what these two aspects are showing, the light and the dark. Once you've got clear on it, then eventually you can own this aspect, which will help you to integrate both sides, the light and the dark. But even though you'll know that this is all part of who you can easily be, God has given you free will and the choice to not be that guy and to show up as the expression of your light. So what Yasmin is going to keep you accountable with, because this is her homework as your accountability partner, is to call you out whenever you're being Satyrus and to call forth Idris.
Yes. But he has to listen to me.
He has to become aware, first of all, who is Satyrus and who is Idris.
Mm.
And you've also got to agree with it too. It can't just be like, you don't want to come from Yasmin. This is going to come from you more than anything. You're going to choose who Idris is and who Satyrus is. But she's going to call you forth. You can call forth the best version of who you are.
Mm.
That's her job. Your job is whenever she calls you forth, to not hide Idris, but to let him out.
I get what you're saying. Mm. Like as I was saying, growing up, I had the support where if something had happened, there was always someone there to help fix it, get some advice from. But and like I said, it's not the same.
You don't need them.
But you don't need this is the thing I need to get out. We don't need people. It's not that. But I've always felt
They're the wrong people.
as humans we need to help. Like I've always had that.
You need the right people.
We need the right people to help.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point you got to do it yourself.
You accept.
Mm.
You don't accept that.
I appreciate this, man. Thank you very much. I didn't expect that. Just wanting to just support the husband in this call, but yeah, I have my own issues. Like it's not. I'm cool. I'm fine. Just would like some things would like I'd like them to be a bit more improved.
A little bit too cool sometimes. Too cool for school, right?
Yeah,
That's Satyrus. A little bit too cool for school. They become frozen.
that's
Right?
the Mary Jane.
Yeah. Idris, he's warm. That's what you want to be.
Mm.
Idris shows warmth. He's warm. Not cool for school. And when you're showing up as that one that's like the one that has warmth, giving warmth, like that in itself is cool as fuck. Like the right kind of cool.
When I was on Facebook, I felt like I was doing it for a little while. Then I make mistakes, and that's it. I come off self-sabotage.
Mm.
But I felt like I was going on the right way. I was doing the right things. I've never been posting things like that before.
Yeah.
Every day positive, every day something, trying to keep people up. But it's, then I mess it up.
What? Is that a bad thing?
I don't want to embarrass. This is the thing, isn't it? There's people watching.
And isn't that what you want? People to watch?
Yeah, just block the ones you don't want.
The ones that judge won't like what I put out.
And whose problem is that?
Well, I feel it's my problem
Why?
because they're not expecting me to do something like that.
But why is that your problem?
Yeah.
I guess for a second, or for I don't know what it is. I picture myself on a billboard, it's like this thing saying, "Look what he's done." Yeah, and it's in the city center of Los Angeles or something, or in this big city center. That's how I see it. I feel everything that I might do gets highlighted.
Yeah.
People are like, see what I
But
told you. See what I've told you about him.
So that's what you want, isn't it? Like, if you could get an advert for free in Los Angeles with all those cars looking at you guys, that's free leads. That is what you would want in a business. So it's not necessarily the exposure that is what you don't want. What you don't want is to feel the judgment. And let me ask you this. If all those people in Los Angeles driving the cars were going past this advertisement, this billboard with your big face on it.
Saying, look what he's done today.
Yeah, look what he's done today, acting all stupid. And you never spoke with any of these people ever in person. You didn't know any of them. But they were all becoming leads and about to go into your business. Would you care?
No.
No.
I mean, doors open.
Exactly. So why did you care about being judged?
Because I haven't got anything to cover myself and shield myself yet.
From who or what?
From the rock that are going to come my way.
From the who?
From the missiles that will come your way, or from the judgment that will come your way. I haven't got that shield yet.
But you said that you don't care about the judgment from the people that you're never gonna that don't know that you don't know who they are, right? If you don't know who they are, do you really care?
No,
If
them
you're
ones I don't care.
No. Who do you care about? In
People that are close to me.
Do you care about what Yasmin thinks?
Of course, 100%. That's the main thing.
Okay, so whenever you put out content, do you feel like she's judging you?
Yes. 100%. I won't lie.
I think he can do so much better. He always keeps himself like.
I'll put something out,
down.
And I'll be like, "Wait a minute, would that be all right? Would that be all right?" Sometimes if it's just cool, I'm cool. I'll just post it. But yeah, there is a part of me that feels, is this right for Yasmin?
But you don't post what Idris would post.
I know her family.
Would post.
I know her family are watching. I know her friends are watching. I haven't got many friends on Instagram, to us, like close friends. My personal close friends are not on Instagram. That's where I struggle with getting connections and things like this. I have to make it myself.
You think you're gonna make those connections by acting like Satiric, not like Idris.
It's a bit of a mixture of both. That's why I delete things. I'll post something, I'll delete it the next day, I'll post it, and I'll be like,
So, what Yasmin is alluding to is that rather than just posting out of the blue all the time, which is where you'll get to eventually. What you want to focus on a day-to-day basis is asking yourself this question of, who am I showing up as today? And what would they post? Am I choosing to show up as Tyrus, or am I choosing to show up as Idris? Because what Yasmin is giving you as feedback, if you're going to listen to your number one fan right now, is she's saying that when you post as Idris, not as Tyrus, but when you post as Idris, she loves it.
And I'm over.
So let me ask you this question right now. Imagine if you just had, like, let's say another 100 Yasmins that every single day we're looking at your content, we're loving your content, and we're wanting to connect with you.
I'd be very happy.
You'd be very happy with that. Why?
Because what I'm putting out is resonating.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. If you post content as Tyrus, you ain't gonna attract no Yasmins. She's telling you. It's not gonna be attracted to her.
Yeah, I've said that to her. Like, if we had met when we were young, we wouldn't have got on.
Exactly.
And she knows that.
But if you post content as Idris, right? The one that is not your past self, but it's even your future self, you're embodying that guy, that's super attractive for Yasmin. She loves to see that. The same way that when she be posting as Yasmin X Rashid, not Yasmin Rashid Kurt sides, when she be posting as that woman, you love to see it too.
I do.
So don't be selfish now. Let her experience what you've been experiencing by stepping into the version of you that is your future self, Idris.
But I've got a long way to get to that.
You just you can get there if you want to.
I personally think
So here's the thing. Like I said, you might not be there yet, actualized. So you don't have to fake it till you make it. You simply have to be it until you see it.
I understand. I guess.
You guess? Or you understand?
No. Get up.
Yeah, I do understand. I do understand.
Just be Idris. That's all it is.
Well, Idris is the one you married.
Yes.
But it still came with Satyrus. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Still taking him along.
Yeah. But be Idris. Because you can. You have the choice to be him. Every single day when you wake up, you choose whether you're going to be Satyrus or whether you're going to be Idris. No matter who you are, that you're going to show up as, Yasmin's going to accept either one of them with unconditional love. Because that's the arrangement that you all made when you got married. But if you want her conditional love, which is like a higher level that you get access to, a whole different series of benefits come with that. If you want that, you got to show up as Idris more often.
You know what? That has totally hit home. I'm really, you're right. Even when I'm, it's like a nostalgia, isn't it? You keep this. I like parts of Satirius and what he represents and what he went through.
Yeah.
Because he had to go through. He got me to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I always give him a little bit of a, okay, you can have your little moment. You can have your moment. You can have your moment. But he keeps fucking me up.
Let him have his moments, because he's coming along the ride anyway. And if you don't, then he's going to be out of control. So let him express himself every now and then. But don't let him be in the driver's seat. He's a backseat driver.
I should kick him out of the car completely.
Wow. I've never thought of it like that. Wow. You see, you integrate yourselves. Because I've split. You're right. I've never seen it as that. I have split my life. My life's in two. Place it in two phases, sorry. Or three. And I have to be more proud of who I've become.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And where you going?
And where I'm going, yeah, where we go.
Have pride in it. Own it. Same way that you own your past. Own that part of you, but also own where you're going and who you're becoming by embodying that guy right now as much as you possibly can, but also not neglecting Satyrus, because you're honoring what he did to bring you here right now.
Yeah, without my experiences, I wouldn't have got to this point.
Exactly.
And that's all of us.
That's all thanks to Satyrus, right? But some people have different roles for a different reason. For example, you wouldn't necessarily put a chef in the role of, being the waitress. Bartender. You don't do that, no. The chef's the chef, the bartender's the bartender. Satyrus took care of the past. Idris taking care of your future.
But what if you miss the trains? That's how I feel like. I feel like you miss these opportunities. And
Satyrus
they don't present themselves to you as much.
Satyrus misses opportunities, but Idris doesn't. He sees them and he capitalizes.
I like that. That's pretty good. Nice one.
Yeah. If you want, you can get your Batman costume as well and You can start wearing it whenever you want to step into Idris mode. But this is actually, like, on a serious note, like one of the reasons for why I have my setup the way that I have. Because I'm actually a different guy almost when I'm like with my mom, or with my cousins and stuff like that. I can be like my past version of who I am. I'm just Adam. But when I'm showing up here, best believe I'm Muhammad Adam Ali, the soul mentor. And a big part of that is my environment that I put myself into. Yasmin's now got it with her car, but it's also even my attire. Like, especially when I wear my outfit, got my chain, got my my black jumper. Like, I really feel like, damn, I'm definitely that guy now. So you can give yourself these cues as when you're stepping into him, but you get to design who you're becoming. And you know what? Everyone thinks that, like, oh yeah, the water's nice. Everyone thinks that, yeah, it's good to get some of the affiliate commissions and everything like this from now and again. Yeah, of course it is. But you know, the best part is about this whole journey that you guys have decided to embark on. The best part is who you become, the process.
Yes,
Finding myself.
absolutely, 100%.
And you
I
get to
felt that
choose.
from the beginning.
You get to choose whoever it is that you want to become. You get to design that person and just embody that person. And no one will say that you're doing the wrong thing here. Everyone's going to be like celebrating you, cheering you on for becoming who you always wanted to be.
You see, I've enjoyed. I'll be honest. For me, I've enjoyed from the beginning, Yasmin, with this, but I haven't. Yeah, I haven't got in the way in that sense, like with Yasmin. But I could tell that it was helping her. I could see it daily, so I'm not going to stop it. So I didn't want to think so, but I do. Yeah, this is all good.
Yeah.
Everything takes time.
Like I said, let her experience what you felt by getting to watch her grow and how it makes you feel. You feel like, look at it this way.
Love it.
When you all get married, it's like you have value. And it's the same thing when you buy something or used to bet on horses and stuff. It's kind of like watching your horse and seeing it win. Like, yes, the bet I made is going up in value. I'm going to be rich. It's an incredible feeling. And you've been feeling that whilst Yasmin's been growing. That's my woman there. She's getting better in value. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a status thing.
I absolutely love it. I can't describe.
This is it. But that's the selfish part of you. That's the part.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah. The one who is Idris, he ain't selfish. He's selfless. And he's like, you know what? Yasmin, I ain't gonna let you just make me feel this way. This ain't right. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a taste of your own medicine.
But she's more responsible in having that. She's a lot more responsible than me.
Than Satiris.
She knows that.
Satiris don't take responsibility, man.
Yeah. But Idris does.
He claims it. He runs after it.
Don't mix the two. But it's knowing when not to mix the two.
You got it.
Like with my family, I've always just wanted them to be like, Why can't you just be like how he was growing up? See me as satirist. Don't see me as this new Muslim type person. So I've always had that block.
And you know what? They're going to respect you a whole lot more when you own the new version of who you are. They ain't going to be comfortable with it, but they'll at least respect it. But if you don't own it yourself and you don't have that pride, truly, they can't respect you. Someone might not be a fan, they might not be like a lover or anything like that, but they can still have respect for you.
That's all I want.
You just want to be respected. And in order to be respected, you have to have respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you respect Satiris? Or do you respect Idris more?
I respect Idris.
Exactly, because he's a respectable guy.
Yeah, I am. It's just, yeah. Sometimes satirist plays, I don't know, he comes into play, I guess, yeah.
Mm.
Is that satirist or is that just, yeah, you're right.
See, at the moment, you're a little bit unsure as to who is Satiris, who is Idris,
No,
because
no,
you've not
I'm
been
not unsure.
consciously aware. But now you're seeing it unfold a little bit just through this conversation. It's like, whoa, there's two versions of me. I didn't even see that this was like a thing. But
Of course there is.
now that you're aware of it a lot more consciously, you'll be able to decipher and discern as to when you've been showing up as Satiris and when you've been showing up as Idris. You'll be able to see it a lot more often for yourself. It won't require a mirror, it won't require me, it won't require Yasmin. You'll just start noticing it in you. But what it does require, it requires radical self-honesty. Not lying to yourself, just actually being like, yeah, you know what? That was a little bit like Satiris, that kind of behavior. Or, yeah, that was Idris. And even subtle things like I know I was talking before about what kind of environment would Idris be in? What kind of outfit would Idris wear? Like, this means you should probably buy him another outfit, like an Idris outfit.
But
And
what if he doesn't like what I buy?
I mean, he can choose with you, but
It's a bit tight.
y'all can agree on what the image of Satiris of Idris wants to be. And to be honest, I'll give you what I did to help myself is like I put in all the traits of the Muhammad Adam Ali version, and I put that into ChatGPT, and I was like, "Yo, as my image consultant, what do you think I would wear as this person?"
Wow.
How do you think I would sound? Because you can even curate your voice to be more like Idris. Maybe Satiris sounds like a kid,
He was.
you know, a little bit childish, a little bit like high pitch. But Idris is like Batman. Idris is the
Well,
one that's got the raw. He's like Kofu, you know.
yeah, not exactly Wolverine, but yeah, I get you. Yasmin's saying she's very happy.
I can tell.
She's thinking about Italy 2.0.
Nice one, man. I'm going to reflect. Thank you.
Look at this as well. I want you to like have a mental memory, because to be honest, you were saying that prison was your line in the sand moment. This is your line in the sand moment.
It took another 20 years.
This moment right here, I tell you why, because you're going to take a mental picture, a memory, even take a literal picture if you want. This would be a great time to document. Take an actual picture of Yasmin smiling right now. And your goal is to get her to smile like that and be as happy as she is right now every single day. Because you're showing up as Idris. You're making that choice.
If I could go live, I would, but it's a bit. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
You can document, take a little video, take a little snippet, just like keep it for yourself. So you'll be able to one day you'll tell the story to the next guy that's coming in and be like, this was my moment that everything shifted. It's when I saw my wife's face and she was smiling from ear to ear because she got a glimpse as to who I was choosing to become.
She's actually, wow.
You can see me in the jacket.
That's good to see the smile on her face. Yeah. That's one. Thank you, man. I'm gonna have to leave it there.
That's all good, man.
For now, thank you very much for giving me this space. Thank you.
Hey, man. Just best way that you can truly thank me is by making sure that she is feeling like that every day because of you. And
yes,
just keep showing up.
I can promise you that.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Peace, love, blessings.
Same, man.
Same to you, bro. Thank you. Take care.